With your permission, ma'am. Good evening, everyone. I wholeheartedly welcome you all for this ongoing webinar series 2020-2026 organized by American College Madurai and the Department of Psychology, American College Madurai, with different associate partners, Yellow Point India Counseling and Wellness and Tamilnadu Counselors and Psychotherapists Association. Today is 2304th section. Today's topic is juvenile justice on and awareness about the law relating to the children of the country of our country. Today's resource person is Dr. Hindu Sadhwani. I welcome you, ma'am. I welcome other participants. I like to share few about our resource person, Dr. Hindu Sadhwani. She is assistant professor as a guest and the ex-member of JJ board CG. She holds the dual degree in psychology as well as law with a rich experience in the both domains. Her work experience with the government of Chhattisgarh and also she is concentrating towards the she's also a mentor of psychology and the law, inspiring them to think critically and empathetically about the human behavior and justice. As a former juvenile justice board member, she had contributed to the child rights protection and rehabilitation of our children in conflict with the law, emphasizing restorative and reformative justice. I welcome you, ma'am. The floor is yours.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for a brief introduction of mine. Good evening, everybody. This is Dr. Indu Sadhwani, and today we are going to discuss the most important law with the mental health aspect, that is juvenile justice. So, I'm going to share my PPT in full screen so that you can all go through it in detail. Right, just a minute. Okay, so juvenile justice. The law where mental health has to sit at the center of it. However, its name is juvenile justice, so it is understood it is meant for children, right? So this law focuses on not only on the justice aspect for children in conflict with law, but also for the children who are somehow coming or becoming a part of the system due to their so many things, like if they are abandoned, restricted, or have any natural calamities with their families, so they become a part of the system. So let us begin with the introductory aspect of this act, how this act came into existence. In 1850, the Apprentices Act was there, which was focusing on the skills only. It was saying that children offenders should be provided some skills, or their in skill enhancement should be the core requirement. Instead of sending them to prisons, we must focus on their skills, right? In 1889, UNCRC came into line. It declared that the every children deserves dignity and rehabilitation. In the year of 2000, India introduced its first and modern Juvenile Justice Act with basic principles. And after, because every act may have, some kind of drawback, so it keeps changing by the time. In the year of 2015, because there was a case, you all must be aware of it, named the Nirbhaya case, right? It shook the entire nation. The law was rewritten into JJ Act 2015. So the JJ Act is not just the law, it is the result of more than 170 years of changing ideas about children and justice. Now let us see what we'll cover in today's session. So this is the agenda. We'll talk about the legal framework of JJ Act, how the system works, the mental health reality of this act, and what are the gaps that are being that we can make covered by our efforts. Now, why this conversation matters? You are able to see so many record uh, here. Okay. So these numbers are not just numbers. This is the mental health aspect which has been ignored a lot. Okay, let us start with why mental health deserves to be the center of this talk, not a footnote. These numbers come from real Indian clinical researches. There is a institution, you must be aware of it. The name is NIMHANS, National Institute of Mental Health and Neurosciences. There is a clinic named Swatantra Clinic in Bangalore, a real functioning specialist mental health service, especially for the children in conflict with law. Further, we'll come to know whom we call children in conflict with law, right? So, 9 out of 10 children referred there who had already experienced significant diverse childhood experiences, abuse, neglect, violence at home, and before they ever came into conflict with law. I just want to be very precise about what this does and doesn't mean. It does not mean that trauma makes crime okay. It means if we only ever look at the offense and never at what happened to this child before the offense, we'll keep missing the actual lever that prevents the next one. Right? Okay. What do we mean by juvenile justice? There are, some terms which we call definition. I am going to cover three things here: child, CICL, and CNCP. A child under this system is one who has not completed the age of 18 years. CICL is child in conflict with law who has been allegedly found to have committed any offense before the age of 18 years. And CNCP is a child who needs care and protection, right? So most people, when hear about juvenile justice, they just can assume or picture the first category, that is CICL, child in conflict with law. Who are they? They are called young offenders. In reality, a huge share of this law this daily work is the second category, the child who have not done nothing, who haven't done wrong and at all, but it is being prevented by this system of JJ. Right? Now, how the law evolved, you are able to see some, you know, categories here, how this Juvenile Justice Act 2015 that we have right now, it is a long history. Okay, it has been started since before 1850. There was an Apprentices Act. Then, right now, we are having the 2015 Act, which was again amended in the year of 2021. And it is again being, you know, some changes are being made in this act again because the government of India has called suggestions from the people who are working in this field actively. Right. Now, the principles, there is a specific section. I just want to show you the book where these principles have been given a special place, right? So this is the book of Juvenile Justice Act, if you can see. Okay, here there is a special chapter under section 3 where some principles have been discussed. Chapter 2. There are over 16, 17 principles are there. 16 principles are given there. Most of them I have listed here. Presumption of innocence is there. Dignity and worth, principle of diversion, non-waiver of rights. These are self-explanatory principles, I believe. So you can go through them, or I'll share the slide if you want, right? Now, there are two tracks that we have already discussed: child in conflict with law and the children in need of care and protection. Child in conflict with law is handled by the Juvenile Justice Board. On the other hand, CNCP children are handled by the Child Welfare Committee. If the CICL is handed over to the Juvenile Justice Board, uh, they may have committed petty offenses, serious or heinous offenses before the age of 18 years. And if the age while committing the offense, a child belongs to the category of 18 to 16 years and the alleged offense is a heinous offense, there is a procedure called preliminary assessment. Sorry.
Ma'am, please continue.
Okay. So if the child has been found to commit a heinous offense and at the time of committing that offense, his or her age is above 16 and below 18 years, there is a procedure called preliminary assessment that has to be done under section 15 of the act. And the bail is also provided, and here for juveniles it is treated as a norm, not an exception, because the goal of the JJ Act is to inquire, dispose, and reform children, never punishment. Okay. Now, who does what? There is a Juvenile Justice Board, Child Welfare Committee. You'll find out Special Juvenile Police (SJPU). Every police station, there are special officers who are designated to Special Juvenile Police, as well as there are so many homes provided under this act, like observation home is there, special home is there, where these children are kept. Okay. The categories of offenses provided in this act are three: petty offenses, serious offenses, and heinous offenses. In any law for the time being in force, if the punishment prescribed under that act is 3 years, up to 3 years, it is considered as petty offense in JJ Act. Similarly, it is considered serious if the punishment is 3 to 7 years, and punishment of 7 years and above is prescribed in any law for the time being in force, that will be called a heinous offense according to JJ Act. But the maximum punishment a child can bear under the JJ Act, because he has not completed the age of 18 years while committing the offense, is 3 years, right? Okay. So from first contact to a decision, there is a procedure, a simplified path through the system. First apprehension is there, then protection, then assessment, then inquiry, and after that there is a follow-up. Rehabilitation is the main or core thing that has to be followed under this, right? Now, why this part 2 of this presentation talks about mental health aspect? Because mental health and health well-being is not the side way, but the main idea of this act. Okay, why this system runs. Okay, so there is a cycle, not a coincidence. Okay, vulnerability and justice system contact or reinforce each other, because when a child comes into the system because of poverty, abuse, neglect, family breakdown, okay, without intervention, the cycle repeats. And these unaddressed distresses like trauma, conduct disorder, anxiety, or substance abuse go unscreened. Then what happens? They become children in conflict with law, they become a part of the system. The child distress reads as delinquency, which was not needed if it has been noticed or treated earlier. Then what happens further? Institutional stress becomes the part of their life. Overcrowding, bullying, and stigma inside homes can re-traumatize their situation. There are so many studies who have been found that children in conflict with law find high rates of conduct disorders, depression, ADHD, substance use, and separately, children with untreated mental health or substance concerns are most likely to come into the contact with JJ system at first place. Right? Now, where the law meets the ground. Practical realities of the act. Trained staff shortage, re-traumatization inside the homes, stigma and prejudice, delay itself is a harm, and weak follow through. These are the things are called the practicalities of this act. Why? This act, the JJ Act, provides clarification about each and every staff, each and every person working under the system, including the eligibility criteria to what the practicality approach should be there. Okay. But in reality, these things are not followed. The National Commission for Protection of Child Rights has documented inside childcare institutions themselves patterns of bullying by older mates, inmates, sexual abuse, severe overcrowding has been noticed. These places meant to protect children, right? But they harm them. It is documented, right? National Commission for Protection of Child Rights had documented it directly. We can say that many people, especially after seeing the Pune Posh case, you must have heard about the Pune Posh case. Bail conditions were talked, walked away thinking these homes are basically comfortable consequences, free places. It's a slap on the wrist. Document reality says in many facilities is a closer to the opposite. Correcting to this misconception might be the single most useful thing this talk does today. Now, the deliberate philosophy shift, the act is built to reform, not to brand a child for life. Because the punitive model has been rejected here and the rehabilitative approach has been adopted. This act never treats a child as a criminal. Punitive approach focuses on custody and confinement. But here, the diversion is the core idea. Public record follows the child for life if the approach is punitive. But here in section 24, it has been clearly mentioned that a child who has gone through this system suffers no disqualification later in life that would normally attract to a criminal conviction. It cannot bar them from a job or a professional license, a public office, the way an adult conviction would. Records of conviction must be destroyed after the appeal period ends or after 7 years by direction of the board to police and by the children's court to its own registry. Now, what does justice actually achieve if a single decision made at 15 follows someone for the rest of their life? Okay. You can think about it thoroughly. What should be who should be in the room? A psychologist, psychiatrist, counselors in home, probation officers should be there, and social investigation officers should be there. Okay, these are the categories of jobs provided separately in this act itself. Now, there are 6 practical fixes and notices none of them require rewriting the law, only funding and enforcing what already exists. Screen at first. Screen for mental health at first contact, not for months later. Fill the counselor and psychologist posts that already exist on paper. Run independent, unannounced monitoring at homes. Invest more in diversion and community-based programs so that institutions really are the last resort. And as we have discussed, that institutionalization shall be the last resort for the children has been mentioned as the principles of JJ Act. And coordinate better between JJBs, CWCs, health departments, schools, and NGOs so a recommendation made on paper actually gets followed up in someone's life. What you are going to take by this presentation? Takeaways. A child is a child first, according to JJ Act. The law already requires psychological expertise. So there is a provision in Juvenile Justice Board. There shall be 3 members. One shall be the principal magistrate and 2 are the social workers. Among them, one shall be the female having, 1 member shall have the expertise in psychology, psychiatry, sociology, or other experts are required. Most children in conflict with law who experience trauma, neglect, or unmet mental health needs first. The biggest gap today isn't the law on paper, it's trained staff, monitoring, and follow through the ground. Okay. And everyone in this room, as a parent, teacher, neighbor, or simply a citizen, has a role choosing that. So this is all from my side. A child in conflict with law is first and always a child in need of understanding. Thanks a lot.
Thank you, ma'am. Good awareness section. The child is a conflict with the law is a first always a child in need of understanding. Very good awareness section, how to deal the child, especially with the different cases as well as the hyperactivity child. So we made to give the clear picture how the law made to protect them. The floor is for question. So I have one question. What is the role of parents and the family members? Because they have been, the child has been once put it under the custody means the social stigma, the labeling the child is very much there. So how far we are going to help the family members as well as parents to bounce back with this kind of a situation?
Okay. For this, you need to first understand and convince yourself as a parent, as a person, I would say, as a person, you need to convince yourself that if any child has been a part of this system for any reason, he needs another chance. If he has committed any offense, there must be some reasons. Those reasons must be known. And if we are able to find out what is the actual cause of the offense committed, that definitely so many things are there. There is an environment, there is a peer support, there is, friends and family. So many things are there. When in growing stages, a child comes to comes to people. Okay, he comes to know various things. If he comes to know bad things, he adapts them. If he comes to know good things, he adapts. Okay, so we need to find out the reason. We need to understand it first, and then we can convince the society, right? According to me.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you very much. Others like to share? So we need your email ID and the contact number also. So post in the chat box. Others like to share about the or want to clarify certain things, please come forward.
Ma'am, I would like to ask a question.
Yeah.
Yeah, sure.
The question being that what about the mental health of the child? I understand that they are put into rehabilitation and they are given all the support from the government. But what is the ground reality? What happens to the child? Is he able to, get out of the remorse? Or how do they actually deal with him, and what happens, is the stigma off his back, actually?
Yeah, very good question. First of all, I would like to add that the mental health aspect is the most neglected aspect in India till today. Till today. Most of the institutions have been forced by the government to appoint mental health specialists, counselors, and you know therapists, so that children who are facing such things can uh, approach them for better understanding. There are so many things. I would like to give an example of today's newspaper in Chhattisgarh. There is a news that there is a mass hysteria in a school has been reported. 10 uh, there is a school where 500 students have got admission, and 250 students were present, and last 3 days they are behaving, you know unacceptably. They are, not understanding anything, throwing stones, throwing bags on each other, and acting differently. Not, it cannot be called normal. So such things come across us. We used to we I would say that every child notices every single thing, no matter whether he or she shares it with their parents, their friends, their siblings, or not. So it is very, very important to, till 15 years or 18 years of age, it is very, very important to sit with children, at least as parents, as family members. We can do this thing for our children at home, to sit and talk with them, because they notice if parents are fighting. They notice if parents are, giving bad facial expressions to each other. They used to notice, no matter whether they are saying it about it or not. Okay, you are going to see these things in children later in times. I would like to share another example, because being a member of Juvenile Justice Board, I have came across so many children with their experiences who personally have shared with me. Okay, so there was a child aged about 14 years, a regular family, middle class family, two brothers, one sister. First brother, the younger one, was average in studies. Okay, every day he was going to school. Someday, suddenly, he left everything and went out, left that place and went out other place without knowing any single person. And the family background, I would like to mention, family background of that child was such that father was alcoholic. There was a bad environment at home. Economic condition was bad. Okay, this is the example of the younger one. The elder one was became alcoholic at the age of 16. And this thing was not known by the parents and the locality also. Suddenly one day he came drunk in the night after 12 and started throwing whatever he has in his hands, without even having an awareness that what he is doing to is on their parents and family, he can hurt them. He was not having that idea because he was that much drunk. Okay, so these things come only by the environments, the economic conditions, the societal aspects, because nowadays, not only nowadays, this is the situation of social media and all. Earlier, it was a situation was like that. The family support was lacking. If in any family support is lacking for children, parents are emotionally unavailable for their children. Children need support and help. They want to share that emotional thing to their family members, but because they are not available for them, they used to share with other people's, so other people take advantage of them. Such things are going to happen. So we need to take care of all these things. Every minute detailing is matters. And after 10-20 years, we are living in the social media age nowadays. Okay, in social media age, people or children, many you must have been aware about many countries who have banned social media. Okay, in India, this is being done. It is under procedure. Soon you are going to hear this news that for children, social media is going to be banned. Okay, so this thing is badly affecting children. They don't know what to see. And nowadays, social media is noticing the pattern what you are going to watch. And that pattern is being recorded. Next day, you are going to see those posts repeatedly. And if you won't monitor your children, what they are saying, you will never know. So many drastic things are going to are happening. You know, there are so many fields that can be talked about. The online games, children used to play and like online games a lot, and online games follow certain procedures. Okay, they provide some gifts and all, and they tell you to pay some amount. Initially, this amount is not much, and gradually that increases. And if your mobile phone has your account connected with it, you won't know how much money you have lost. Children will not let you know at that time, and later on it won't matter. But the result you will see in a bad manner. So I would recommend that every parent, every single person should be aware about what their children are doing. Not only for our children, we shall be aware for others too. And we can mention these things politely. Right. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. I think
Ma'am, I have one question.
just one word, Sneha, ma'am. Uh, I think the games that you are mentioning, ma'am, they promote violence also. Thank you,
Right.
Sneha.
Welcome. Ma'am, I just would like to ask you very quickly that what would be the condition, mental condition of the children who murder their own families? Being juvenile also, we have heard many cases that it has been murders have been plotted by the children of their own family. Some of them has murdered their mother, somebody has killed their father. So what would be the mental condition of these children?
Yeah. For this thing only, the preliminary assessment has been mentioned in Juvenile Justice Act. As I have already discussed in the slide itself, which I'll share if you want it. Preliminary assessment gives three conditions. Children are not aware of the circumstances, what they are doing right now, and in future, what will be the consequences of the act they are doing. They don't know. They actually cannot, calculate such things. What will be the consequences if we commit this thing? And that is the reason, what is the difference between an adolescent and an adult? The decision making capability is the most important thing that plays a crucial role here, I would say, Sneha ji. They don't have this decision making capability at the instance, and the circumstances became so critical at that time they cannot, measure what is right and what is wrong. You must be discussing about the recent case which got a news highlight, a child who has murdered his mother,
Yes,
right?
ma'am. Not
Yeah,
only
yeah,
in recent time, even in the past as well, we have heard many a news like these that a child has plotted a family, good family from Bangalore. A child who
yeah,
was not very good enough in his studies, but his sister was good, and they might have been compared with each other. So the parents were also very intelligent and very good in their who they were financially good. They were educated parents. So the
yeah.
child being feeling inferior, he planned the murder for the whole family. He
Right,
burnt
right.
his own
It is a
house.
matter which is subjudized. It will be so early to, conclude anything about the same. But the consequences were that, like, he was aware about the extramarital affair of his mother. This is the thing I came to. Such things play important role. Children used to notice these things. If I talk about myself, my